I took the night bus every evening at 11:40 p.m. After my shift ended. It was the cheapest way home, and at that hour, it was usually empty. The bus route cut through the quietest parts of the city, long stretches of road with broken streetlights and abandoned storefronts. Most nights, I was the only passenger. The driver was always the same man, silent and thin, with deep lines under his eyes. He never greeted anyone, just stared straight ahead and drove. One Thursday night, the air felt heavier than usual when I stepped on board. The bus lights flickered once before settling into a dim yellow glow. I scanned my pass and sat near the middle, like I always did. There were no other passengers. At least, I thought there weren't. The bus pulled away from the curb with a loud hiss. As we turned onto the main road, I heard the faint creak of movement from the back. I froze, telling myself it was just the suspension shifting. But then I heard it again. A slow, deliberate shuffle. I glanced toward the rearview mirror above the driver. His knuckles were white around the steering wheel. Trying not to look obvious, I turned slightly in my seat. The back rows were dim, but I could make out the silhouette of someone sitting near the very end. I was sure the bus had been empty. We hadn't stopped since I got on. I swallowed and faced forward again, my heart beginning to thud painfully in my chest. At the next stop, the bus slowed, but no one was waiting outside. The doors opened anyway. Cold air rushed in, far colder than the autumn night should have been. No one stepped in. The doors closed with a sharp snap. The bus didn't move. I looked at the driver. His eyes were now locked on the mirror. Slowly, I turned around. The passenger in the back was standing now. He was too tall for the bus ceiling, his neck bent at an unnatural angle. His arms hung too long, fingertips brushing the floor. The overhead lights flickered again, and for a split second, the bus went completely dark. When the lights returned, he was closer. I hadn't heard footsteps. I hadn't seen him walk. Next stop, the driver muttered suddenly. His voice trembled. The bus jerked forward, accelerating too quickly down the empty street. The windows rattled violently. I risked another glance back. The figure was now halfway down the aisle. Its face was wrong. The skin looked stretched, pulled too tight over sharp angles. Its eyes were too deep, like dark holes pressed into a mask. My phone buzzed in my pocket, making me flinch. I pulled it out with shaking hands. There was no notification, just a black screen reflecting the inside of the bus. In the reflection, I saw myself sitting alone. The aisle behind me was empty. I turned around quickly. The figure was still there, closer now. One elongated leg bent awkwardly as if it were learning how to stand. The bus suddenly slammed to a stop, throwing me forward in my seat. The doors flew open. Outside was not my stop. There were no buildings, no streetlights, no road signs, just darkness stretching endlessly in every direction. "Get off," the driver whispered. He still wasn't looking at me. I didn't move. My legs refused to cooperate. The tall figure tilted its head slowly, bones cracking softly in the silence. "Get off," the driver shouted, his voice breaking. I stumbled out of my seat. As I passed the driver, I saw tears streaming down his face. The moment my feet hit the pavement, the doors slammed shut behind me. I turned to bang on the glass, but the windows were black, like they had been painted over from the inside. Through the windshield, I saw the tall figure standing directly behind the driver now. Its long fingers rested gently on his shoulders. The bus pulled away without headlights, disappearing into the darkness in seconds. I stood there shaking, expecting to be surrounded by empty fields. Instead, I was at my usual stop, right outside my apartment building. The streetlights flickered back to life. Cars passed by like nothing had happened. The next evening, I went to catch the 11:40 bus again. A different driver sat behind the wheel. I hesitated before stepping on. "What happened to the other driver?" I asked quietly. The new driver frowned. "There hasn't been a night driver on this route for years," he said. I felt my stomach drop. As I slowly walked to my usual seat, I noticed something carved into the plastic of the window beside it. 3 words, scratched deep and uneven. "Next stop, you."